Thanks for joining us for a new series called our Small Win Series. And what we want to do is share with you some things that are working right now in hospitality sales. And for our very first edition, I want to welcome Denielle Godwin. She's the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Bowden. It's a event and wedding venue in Keller, Texas, and a current partner at Lure Agency, and we're honored to have her with us. Appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us, Denielle.
Thank you, Cory, for having us.
You bet. Can you tell it, maybe give a quick overview about yourself, your roles and responsibilities, and maybe a little bit about the Bowden?
Sure. Well, I get the pleasure of being the Director of Sales of this beautiful venue in Dallas Metroport area. We house anywhere from 25 to 550 guests. Kind of our wheelhouse is a really high, large gatherings, lots of celebrations with a major focus on giving back to the community. So through our partnership, through the Greater Keller Women's Club, all the funds that we generate and the revenues that we generate for these events, we distribute back to the Greater Keller Women's Club, and they share with the community so that our groups and guests can understand that every time they have an event here has a greater meaning, that their proceeds will be supporting the community in many ways, feeding the hungry, helping the elderly, building houses, whatever the community needs as well. So it gives me great joy to know that we have a bigger purpose beyond the wonderful events that we host to serve the community.
Love that. That's great. Without a question, 2020 is probably going to go down as the most difficult years in history. So what specific challenges that you and the Bowden have been facing coming into this year?
Wow, Cory. I'd say probably the biggest challenge going into really the COVID season was being impacted ourselves by what the restrictions were. We were just coming into our busiest season. We had events on the books almost every day for a couple of months in a row. And we had obviously been shocked with the rest of the world with what this meant. And so it was really finding that balance between how do we continue to support our employees and protect this asset, as well as continue to support the community and our guests that were having events that week, following weeks, the following months to come, because nobody knew what it was going to look like. And we had to figure that out. So it was really just figuring out what that balance was. How do we protect the fiduciary responsibility that I have to this house, carry on the legend of the Bowdens, and support all of our valuable guests, who many of our repeat guests, and we support them in many ways, not just having their daughters' weddings, but other gala functions, anniversaries, all kinds of things that we have the opportunity to work with them multiple times a year.
Nice. To maybe dive a little bit deeper on that, were there specific changes that you really had to make along the way to help navigate some of the difficult circumstances that we have?
Oh, wow. We had to make lots of changes. We had to really redefine who we were. Being an event center that can facilitate large gatherings, now all of a sudden large gatherings are not happening or they're being limited. We had to figure out really who we weren't. And we ended up having to really think about in the beginning was starting each day with a fresh perspective. The world as we knew it was changing every day and very different. And so we started focusing on today's business in an industry that we're used to focusing on our pace for the next 6, 12, 18 months, especially being a large event business. We started thinking about how are we going to replace this immediate lost business and really pivot to support that, as well as protecting our 6, 12, and 18 months down the road. because people were literally, the leads fell apart. They stopped inquiring because people froze and kind of waited for a while, and people were just kind of not inquiring, and they were not sure what today meant or what tomorrow meant. So we just started focusing on what can we do today.
Great. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks. So what would be your single best advice that you could pass along to a fellow DOSM that is struggling right now?
For us, it was, don't be afraid to redefine your business. Don't be afraid to turn everything upside down and change who you are. Because for us, that meant finding new partners that now are going to be partners for a really long time, because we really started digging deep about how we could become a partner to businesses that were also suffering like us. So now we have, partnerships in churches and with memorial services and funeral homes and different types of businesses that we might not have been thinking about had we not been put in this position. And so I always like to equate it to the many great things that came out of the Great Depression and other difficult times that our country has endured, and what great growth happened. And I think that if we're willing to shake it up, we can find a new message and a new who we are, and not to get too hung up on who we are, because today's looks different from last year, and it might look different in another year, and that's okay.
Great point. Great stuff. So as of today, what is it, the 8th of October, 7th of October? How are you succeeding this week right now?
Oh, wow. Well, with our great partnership with Laura, and putting our heads together.
Oh, thank you.
And really shifting our focus and finding those new partnerships, we've been able to identify other ways to do business. We started in the beginning by thinking about our team. How are we going to keep our operations team busy when we don't have events? So we came up with meal plans that we were packaging and selling and sharing with the community for a price, so that, because so many people were in their homes, now they can take a prepackaged meal and not have to do anything but set it and forget it. So we did a lot of that, which we've never done before. We, because we support the community so much, we got the word out there that we feed our first responders, and we love doing that continuously throughout the year. But specifically in the very beginning, we were really focused on how do we continue to make sure that we're relevant and that we're supporting our community without it becoming a burden on us, financially, by keeping everybody busy. And the officers and the fire department and others were just always coming to our doorstep every Tuesday, Thursday, and excited to see what Chef and the team had made for them. So it was really finding us that way. We started figuring out partnerships through, like I said, churches, funeral homes, various organizations in the industry that were space limited, that needed space to expand, and reached out to a handful of our partners to figure out how we could do satellite gatherings here and put some great packages together that would be really easy for our customers to say yes to, and be able to really expand their town hall meetings or their church gatherings or whatever it might be. Even the weddings, in the very beginning, our large weddings became smaller, and aunts and uncles and family members and even friends that were in other states that couldn't travel in were really saddened by that. But we were able to include them by offering the satellite gatherings for intimate events too. And it's now a thing. And now that person who can't travel can join via satellite, and it can be personal and it can be fun, but it can also make sure that those important moments don't get missed.
Good stuff. That's great. Thank you. Well, anything else that you might want to add or pass along? It's been a great few minutes to chat with you. I'm sounds like obviously with the current situation, you've been able to navigate through many of these with some really creative ideas, and it's been great to pass some of that stuff, that secret sauce along.
Well, I think the first thing is to get out there. Laura's helped us really do that and identify new target markets and make sure it's relevant and fresh. But at the end of the day, just to remember that we're the hospitality industry. We can shift to whatever the needs are today, tomorrow, and 2 years from now, because that's what we do. We love to serve people and we do it well. I think by nature, we are not just hospitable, but we love those gatherings by nature. So to be able to be willing to look differently at today, but know that the hospitality industry is strong, and that not only will we persevere, we will find new ways to provide that hospitality, because that's what we love.
Nice. Well, great. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us, and a great discussion on some fantastic things that you guys are doing at Bowden. Appreciate the partnership. You guys have been fantastic to work with, and excited to continue our growth, our relationship, and obviously looking at brighter pastures ahead.
Thanks. We love your work.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your support. It's been fun ride. We'll keep it going. More to follow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And looking forward to our next. We're going to do these once a month. This was our first one. We're very thankful to have Denielle on for our first round. And obviously we're here just to share and help each of us get through this. And I think there's some wonderful people doing some different things. Obviously, we were able to expand on a few of those now. And so we're going to make this a kind of a regular segment, and we're looking forward to exploring this further. Thanks so much, Danielle. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to learning from other colleagues. Enjoy your day.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.